If you want to replace a bike tire, select a tire of the same size. You can find size information on the tire sidewall. Continental tubeless tires may be used tubelessly only on UST rims. On running wheels conforming to the ETRTO standard, a tube must be installed. Keep in mind that you may need a compressor to mount the tire. Tires and their packaging contain the key technical data on the tires and tips for their correct application range. Using the tires under other conditions can lead to sudden tire failure or premature wear. Kindly adhere to these tips. They're intended to ensure your safety. Also, adhere to any pertinent information provided by the bicycle manufacturer. Before mounting the tire, make sure that the inner surface of the tire is free of fouling and grease, especially in the area of the tire bead and the rim bed. Pay attention to the tire's direction of rotation. Mount a valve for tubeless rims. Slide the seal ring down the shaft and screw the retaining nut onto the valve so that the seal is neatly positioned in the recess. Make sure the nut is hand tight. Do not use a tool to tighten the nut. Press the tire bead onto the rim by pushing it over the rim flange around the full circumference of the tire. Using your hands and starting on the side opposite the valve, press the tire's other sidewall over the flange of the rim. Pull the tire back at the valve so that the rest of the tire sidewall can be pressed over the flange. In the exceptional case that this should not prove successful, wet the tire bead with soapy water on both sides of the tire. Do not use any tire levers. They could damage the tire. Center the tire on the rim. Make sure that the tire bead is in the rim bed and that the valve is positioned between the two tire beads. Place the wheel in front of you and press down on the tire. Spin the wheel a few degrees and press down on the tire again. Do this around the entire circumference of the tire. Check that the valve is securely in place by manually adjusting the retaining nut. Loosen the valve nut roughly 3 rotations and press it down in the direction of the rim. This is the only way that air can enter the tire. The first time the tire is mounted, you may have to inflate the tire with a compressor. Inflate the tire in short blasts of air until it has attained the maximum possible inflation pressure, as indicated on the tire sidewall. The tire will seat onto the flange of the rim. You will hear a light pop. Please be very careful when using a compressor. The pressure in the tire must not exceed the maximum recommended inflation pressure. Check to make sure that the tire is correctly seated. This can be determined by observing the characteristic line above the junction of the tire and the rim. The characteristic line runs on both sides of the tire around its entire circumference. It should be evenly spaced from the rim at all points. To adjust the tire's ride characteristics, its pressure can be varied to tune it to the weight of the rider and the conditions. The FAQs at www.conti-bicycletires.com contain a table. Never inflate your tire beyond the maximum permitted pressure. The tire could pop off the rim or have a blowout while you're cycling. The tire can be pinched if there is insufficient pressure. Continental recommends that you always check the tire pressure in your bike before setting off on your ride. Complete the mounting of the tire by screwing on the valve dust cap.